Hi, Azren. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. So, I want to thank you for coming on my channel today. I know that you are a polyglot, you speak multiple languages, and I want to start off by you telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do. I know you run an organization, and tell us also how many languages you speak.
Sure. So my name is Azren. I'm a polyglot and I speak five languages. So English, French, Spanish, Mandarin, and then one Indian language, which is Gujarati. I've run a business for 8.5 years called the Calgary Language Nerds. And our primary mission right now is to guarantee fluency. So if anyone wants to actually have a structured pathway to fluency, I would like to actually offer one. So that's been a research project for about basically since 2023, late 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, so you said you're based in Calgary, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So, first of all, tell us a little bit how your passion for languages started. As you have just
Sure.
mentioned, you speak five languages, and there are some of them are also pretty different from each other. So, which one was your first language and which one was your last language?
Hmm. So I grew up in Calgary in Canada. So then English has always been there. My family speaks Gujarati, so I speak Gujarati with them. I went to a French immersion school, so all my schooling was in French, and from kindergarten until grade 12. Um, in university, I did a French and Spanish major. So I have a degree in like a language and literature degree in French and Spanish. And then after graduating, I started to learn Mandarin, and so that was a little over 10 years ago. And yeah, that's kind of the academic side. And usually when I learn languages, I will have an academic approach where there's classes or something kind of structured, like university, things like that. But then I'll also have a more free-flowing, less structured approach too. And so I've done a ton of travel. So I spent probably 6 months of my life in France. I spent 3 months in South America. I spent 3 months in Beijing, 3 months in Taipei. I've spent in lots of different, lots of different places. India as well, obviously for Gujarati. Like I will travel a lot as well to get like a that immersion type experience too.
Mm-hmm. So, not only you love languages, you also love traveling.
Yeah, big
Mm-hmm.
traveler, basically my whole life.
Mm-hmm. And I have read that you have traveled in many, many countries. How many in total?
I think it's 17.
Okay.
I think so. It's yeah, quite a few. Some people definitely people have traveled more than me, but it's not zero.
Which one is your favorite destination?
Hmm. I like all of them for different reasons, but some of the more memorable ones I would say were the places where I spent the most amount of time. So like for example, I lived in very rural France for a chunk of high school, and then I did one semester in university as well. So
Okay.
that was very memorable. I would say India is also very memorable as well. Anywhere I've really spent and like lived there for and it kind of extended, not just like a month or something, like 2 or 3 or 4 months or something like that. Those kinds of places are ones that really um, stand out, I guess, because you build a life there in a sense, right? A
Yeah, and
temporary life, a short life, but you build a bit of a life there.
yeah, and I think like this is what makes it a bit more special is the fact that you travel to those places, but you lived like a local rather than
Hmm.
as a visitor. So that's why, for those places where you have been the longest, where you have been the longest is probably where you feel, you know, an attachment.
Yeah, I'd agree because I think you put it very well, like living like a local and not like a visitor or not like a tourist.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's always a very impactful experience.
So in terms of your languages, do you use them all? Like even right now, or is there or do you have a language that you use the least at the moment? Because I'm
Um,
assuming you teach
it
them.
ebbs, yeah, it ebbs and flows, which ones I'm using most, which ones I'm not using as much. I'd say the past at least a year, maybe more. I haven't really been using a lot of my languages all that much because I've been so focused on this whole guaranteed fluency project at the Calgary Language Nerds, and so that's like I'm just doing a ton of research, and I'm more with language learners and trying to figure out what are average rates of progress, how do you measure progress, what's if I use this strategy teaching wise or learning wise, what's the impact on someone's fluency? If we use this strategy, what's the impact? I even learned probably the most recent language I've actually spent learning is Ukrainian, actually.
Oh, interesting.
And I only picked it primarily, I just picked it because I needed to test. a lot of the guaranteed fluency projects, a lot of the teaching strategies that we're developing there, I had to test them on someone. So I thought, let me test on me and let me pick a language I know nothing about. So yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And would you say you have a language that was the toughest? Did you feel
Yeah.
you had one that was like, oh, this is really hard.
Yeah, a couple of them, and for different reasons. So Spanish was it felt reasonably straightforward, although there were hard points.
Right.
French also felt reasonably straightforward, but again at hard points, particularly as of the pronunciation. But I had
Mm-hmm.
help, and I was able to figure it out. Mandarin felt very foreign to me. That was
Right.
really, it felt very different. Knowing French and Spanish and Gujarati before learning Mandarin, I didn't feel like it helped very much. I was like, whoa, this is like learning how to swim. It's like saying, I speak English, therefore it should be easy to swim. No, there's no logic. Like that's how different it felt. Like
Yeah.
it felt like a different beast. And then Gujarati I studied as an adult as well, even though I grew up with it. I couldn't
Right.
read, I couldn't write. I spoke my family's dialect and not a more standard dialect. So I studied it as an adult,
Right.
and that was tricky. It was easy in one way because it is essentially language like a first language. I grew up with it, so it's easy in that way. So nothing feels foreign, but it's difficult because there's no resources. You have to just sort of figure it out basically,
Yeah.
and just yeah, there's no like courses. There's very few courses or things like that.
Yeah. I agree with you on that because even for me, it was the same thing with Bengali. Like it's the language that I grew up speaking, but then I do not know how to write it. I used to know how to read it, but again, like you said, there are no resources. And of course, when I was growing up, like my parents taught me how to speak it, but I did not go to a school that was Bengali. I went to a strictly Italian school. So I would say the language that I dominated the most was Italian, not Bengali. And sometimes when I look back, I'm like, oh, I wish, I learned a little bit more Bengali, like I feel like it's a pity, like I feel like
Mm,
it's a little bit like Gujarati, like you wish you knew a lot more than just speaking, because I feel like it makes a difference, you're
sure,
able to stand out from the rest of the people, especially those that have your same background.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'd agree.
Yeah. And so speaking about your the organization, the Calgary Language Nerds, so what are some of the services that you offer? And if people are interested in, learning more, what can they expect?
Yeah, right now it's private, so private lessons. And right now, as we're recording this, we're in a bit of a research phase. So all of the lessons right now are pay what you can. So it's whatever. I'm very flexible on it. There's rates that I want. I'm very upfront of what I would want. If someone tells me honestly, it's kind of like cards on the table. It's like, here's what I want. Here's why I want it. Here's the prices. Like this is what I'd want. You tell me, can you do it? And just look me in the eye, and I will just believe you. If you tell me no, tell me what you can afford, and I will tell you what I can do. Because we need as many people to come take classes to get data. We have a draft idea of what it's been over a year and a half now of trying to develop different teaching methodologies and doing experimentation. We developed a good idea of how we think we need to teach, but we need lots of people to come in so we can test them and really see how much people progress, right? And how effective some of the methodologies are. And so
Yeah.
right now that's the private lessons, pay what you can. And yeah, that's kind of what we're doing now.
Uh-huh. Do you have a lot of members signed up to the program?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, quite a few, I'd say. We have right now, we probably have, depends on the language, but some languages only have space for one or two more students. Some of them have space for maybe five or six, depends on the language. But
Hmm. And what is the most popular thing that people are asking? Like, what is it that they want to improve? And which
yeah,
language? Which one is the most popular?
so language-wise, French and Spanish, I'd say are most popular. But
Right.
also, like right now, specifically Italian, Mandarin, those Italian and Mandarin, and even no, Italian and Mandarin are kind of the two languages right now that I'm trying to get more students in for, so we can do more research and testing. But right now, I'd say French and Spanish are most popular. Um, And the reason that people reach out, so this is what's really interesting. So people will say, okay, I want to come in for conversation, or I really struggle with listening or reading. They'll come in with the challenge. But one thing we've done that I think no one else has done, I actually think we might be the first to have done this, to quantify what fluency means. Not
Okay.
with words, not to describe it, but to quantify it with numbers. to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, grammatical accuracy is this percent. Your fluency, or sorry, your speech rate is this many words per minute. Your translation reliance is this percent. Your vocabulary size is this number. And therefore, because you have these results, this is your level, and here's how we know that's your level. So we've quantified it in a much more scientific way. My dream is to basically build something like a university degree equivalency for
Nice.
fluency, though. So it's like something like where it's this period of time, this is the process, and here's the average rates of progress. Yes, some people progress faster. Yes, some people a little slower, but here's the averages. So we know on average it will take you this pound period of time. We know this is the process. If you're a slower learner, we know it'll take this much time and this is the process. And if you're a faster learner, we know that this is the time and this is the process.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming if I'm understanding this correctly, it's more like you have someone that comes who's interested in learning a language and you build a personalized program, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm assuming it's not a set time frame that it's like, okay, you do this in 3 months. It's more based on what you think the person will need. Like it's not that, okay, if this is not like if the 3 months passes, you're out of this program. Like you still continue to be part of it. If I'm
Yep. And then
understanding this.
yeah, but what I'd like to be able to is be able to tell you how long you will need to reach
Uh-huh.
the level so where it's personalized is that it's based on your goals. So that's personalized.
Right.
Where it's not, where it's perhaps not personalized is when you say, I want to get to XYZ, I want to be this fluent, for example. We would then tell you this is the pathway, and here's how we know this is the pathway. I'll give you a different example of this. This is something that people might not have thought about. So we figure that out for student satisfaction. We can guarantee student satisfaction. We know the procedures to follow. It's a procedure. We know the exact things we have to do to basically guarantee that students like the classes. And anytime a student doesn't like the classes, sometimes there's one-off things that go weird. And it's like, okay, that's a one-off. But the vast majority of the time, if we follow a certain procedure, we know that people will like the classes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to create that, and I've have that with data, just with satisfaction scores. Like we can see thousands of them. I want to create that for progress. That we know that if you do X, Y, and Z, right, this will lead to X, Y, Z results, and we know that will happen, and we have the data to prove it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, my next question is, because I know you have like personalized program, but if you had to give, let's say, 3 tips for anyone, more like a general based, type of,
Mm-hmm.
tip, what would you give? Let's say your top 3 tips to someone who's learning a language.
Number one, number two, and number three might be might be the same one. You have to know what you're looking for out of your language learning journey. Is the goal to get better? Is the goal to have fun? Is the goal to learn to read? Is the goal to watch movies? Is the goal to, you have to know what you're in it for. That might be one, two, and three, frankly. I'll tell you the story behind this. So I always assumed that when people learn languages, their goal was to get better. That's not people's goals. It is not what they primarily want. You have to do some soul searching to realize that. People think they go to learn language because they really want to get better. That's not true. It's just not true. Usually there's other things that people want. So as an example, my mom is a good example. She wants to go and have a social experience in a classroom.
Okay.
She wants to get better too. Of course she wants to get better. No one wants to stay at nothing, but that's not the primary thing she wants. I even told her, I was like, what if I told you there's a 1 year program that led to like a full fluency? She's like, yeah, I wouldn't sign up. And I said, why? She said, well, then what will I do? I can't go to class. It's not fun. I want to like enjoy the process.
Right.
I'm gonna like just, if it takes 10 years, that's fine. I'm enjoying it. I'm taking classes, going there. We eat, have some snacks, eat some, joke around, have a laugh. Another lady I talked to who teaches English told me the same thing. Her students are all seniors. They're like, they're seniors and they don't. They're like, I don't think I'll ever reach fluency in my lifetime. I don't think I have enough time left on this planet to do it. We just want to come and have fun and keep our brains active. Fair enough. That's amazing. Right? Maybe I know someone in my personal life right now who has fun learning just a couple of basics on Duolingo. And
Mm-hmm.
she's been doing it for over a year. But that's what she's not, fluency is not at all what she's aiming at. So if you have to make sure that you know whatever you want to get out of this, right? and then make sure whatever strategies you pick genuinely align with that. I think the vast majority of people I talk to, there's a misalignment. They say one thing and the strategies don't align with it.
Mm-hmm.
You want
I agree.
alignment between the two, and then you're good to go. That's all I want from people. It's like my biggest thing is I want you to be aligned. If you're aligned, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question about this. Do you have any particular resource that you share with people? Typically, like, do you tell them, I don't know if you have any particular podcast, a YouTube channel. I know your main resource
Mm.
is your website, but besides that, do you have anything that you use that you feel like, okay, some of the people might like some of the
Yeah,
people in your
I'll give you
organization
a
use
couple.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple. So, resource number one, this is for people that don't do any talking. If you never talk to any human beings in the language you're trying to learn, one of your best resources to start with is something like italki.com,
Okay.
italki.com, because you have very, very, very affordable and friendly private tutors. And it's just like it's a very affordable way to just get some casual conversation practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that for many people, just a little bit of conversation practice can go such a long way. Um, Another resource that comes to mind would this will sound really basic, but it depends on the language learning, but it's just Spotify. Open up the
Okay.
app
Mm-hmm.
and search on Spotify, insert language you're learning, learn French, learn Spanish. If you want to make it a bit more fancy, learn beginner French, learn beginner Spanish. French, use your creativity, French with stories. I want news in
Yeah.
French. Ooh, I would love it if there was like kids' books in French. Like, I don't know, search whatever, but search it in Spotify and you'd be shocked at, depends on the language, of course, but often I've been so surprised at stuff that exists just by doing a search in Spotify instead of Google or instead of, right? Like just searching in Spotify, search
Yeah.
in the App Store, because sometimes you'd be shocked at the apps that exist. You're like, wow, I never knew that existed. Search in YouTube, search in Google, search in Instagram, like all the search
Yeah.
terms of search in different places, and you'd be shocked at the stuff you'll find.
Yeah. I agree. There's there's tons of things out there.
Yeah, really good stuff too, like amazing, amazing resources that
Yes. Yes.
sometimes are really small and unknown, but they're just like this is one for Mandarin called I think it's called I think it's called immersive Chinese. I think it's called. It's not like a hyper popular app, but like it's pretty cool. Like I like it a lot. I saw their YouTube channel. They have a YouTube channel too. And I was like, whoa, this is actually a cool like approach. And I use it as a teaching resource for quite some time. I used to use it. It's like, this is
Mm-hmm.
so cool. I love this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. I actually like everything that you have shared, and I
Mhm.
agree with you. There are so many things out there, podcasts, and sometimes I wish we had all of those things when I was growing up, because I feel like I only relied on my teacher to learn a language and my academic books. And
Mhm.
especially when I was growing up, like YouTube was not that big. There was no such thing as podcasts. Like I feel like now people have a lot more resources available
Mhm.
to them to learn.
And people need two sides of motivation. There's two sides to motivation. There's the
Right.
one side that we think about, which is almost this hopeful motivation, like, oh, I can do it. This encouragement of, oh, I got this badge I want to work towards, got these points, I got
Yeah.
like something to work towards. But you also need some accountability. Accountability is the other side of motivation. I think for a lot of people, what happens is they have no accountability to someone else.
Yeah.
There's no external accountability. And therefore, what ends up happening instead is they get excited by all the resources, then they get intimidated by the resources, then they might pick one, they might not. If they pick one, they don't really stick with it and they're like, I don't really know if this is leading anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's a solution. My whole, like, I think it would be, I don't know if I'll ever get to this. I just don't know. But in my mind, the perfect thing to exist would be um, a a highly structured self-study program that you can follow that actually, this will sound so strange, but actually works in the sense of, when I say works, is it works to help someone. It works as in if you followed it, it does lead you to a full level of fluency.
Yeah.
Almost like if you look in the exercise in the fitness field.
Right.
Listen, there are self study quote unquote like workouts so you can do at home, and you literally can follow them and
Yeah.
do it all by yourself and become very fit by yourself. Or maybe you join a gym to have the equipment for 30, well, $50 a month, $80 a month, whatever it is, right? But it exists. Now, there's still the motivation aspect where people won't do it, et cetera, et cetera. Fair enough. But in languages, we don't, to my knowledge, we don't have one thing that's mostly or entirely self-study that reliably
True.
works that people could just do that would work if they were to stick with it. That's not, I don't think that exists to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, so that would be really great to have. I think a piece of that's what would be really great to have, but it just doesn't. I think step one of that is having, I honestly think step one is metrics. Like you
Right.
don't go, if you were trying to get fit, you don't go to the gym and pick up a random weight.
That's
You
right.
look up you know the number on the weight. People, when you're on the treadmill, you can see the incline, you can see how fast it's just there. There's
Mhm.
numbers, there's a dashboard. We have no language learning dashboard that actually means something. We don't, there's no way to just know what your grammatical accuracy is. There's no way to just know how many tenses you're using and what frequency. There's no way to know. There are some ways to know, but there's not a very mainstream way to just know how many words you know. There are a couple options, but it takes time for them to estimate. But basically, no. There's
Yeah.
no way to know what your speech rate is. No one even thinks about speech rate. No one thinks about how many words per minute you say, but fluency technically is how many words per minute you speak at in the most technical sense.
Yeah.
Fluency, not taking out grammar, taking out pronunciation, taking everything out, just fluency proper is just what your speech rate. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I definitely agree with everything that
mhm,
you said.
mhm.
And which brings me to the end of the interview. But before I let you go, I do have a rapid fire question with
Go for it.
five questions. And I want you to think really quickly. I want you to say whatever comes to your mind, and you don't need to expand in any of those. Okay?
Sure. Sounds good.
So the first question is, which language did you enjoy learning the most?
Ukrainian.
Okay. Which language do you mess up the most?
Do I what, sir?
Which language do you mess up the most? Like which one do you have
Mess
hard?
up?
Yeah, like
Like make
hard
mistakes
time.
in?
Yeah.
Ukrainian.
What's your favorite word in any language?
The word for cheese in Russian.
Which is?
It's I don't know if I say it right. It's something like sir, something like that. I have a funny story behind it, but anyway, yeah.
This one you probably like answered it before, but it's the question is which language was the hardest for you to learn?
Yeah, if I had to say in one, I'd probably say Mandarin.
Okay. And last question, if you could instantly master one more language, what would it be?
Ukrainian.
All right, that was enough of the torture. Before I let you go, do you want to tell us how people can connect with you and also with your
Yeah.
organization?
Yeah, best way is just to go Azren the Language Nerd.com. It's a bit tricky to spell, but AZ or ZREN, then the language nerd.com. There's a contact page. All my social media is there. You can email me directly if you prefer email. There's book a call on my calendar, whatever you want, all on the contact page of Azren the Language Nerd.com. AZ or ZREN, the language nerd.com.
Sounds good. And don't worry, we'll put the links in the description so people can connect with you. Well, Azran, thank you so much for coming to my channel. It was such a pleasure having you here with me today.
For sure. Likewise. Thanks for having me on.